Hello children, welcome to Vivid Botany. We have a question here about transport in plants, the process responsible for facilitating loss of water in liquid form from the tip of grass blades at night and early morning is. Yes, this is definitely guttation. Guttation. The question is nothing but the definition of the guttation, that is loss of water. Loss of water in the form of droplets. Loss of water in the form of droplets from tip of leaves, tip of grass blades. Do remember, it is not only present in grass blades but also tomato, Lycopersicon, esculentum, colocasia. Colocasia, member of underground stem modification, that is calm. Pothos, pothos ornamental plant, and trapeolum. In all these we find the guttation. What is this guttation? Why does it take place? How do we understand the guttation? Guttation is the result, an example of root pressure. Guttation is an example of root pressure. How do we understand the root pressure? See, root pressure is positive hydrostatic pressure. It is positive hydrostatic pressure that is developed in plant due to rapid absorption of water. Why does root absorbs water rapid? See, for example, a plant will have more salt concentration than that of the soil. That is, water potential inside the plant is very much lower than that of the soil. The soil water will have higher water potential. We know that water always moves from the higher to lower, that is from soil into the plant it moves. So this movement of water potential, movement of water from soil into plant depends upon water potential gradient. As gradient is higher, that absorption of water will be, plant will be also very higher. So as this water moves with high pressure into the plant, that creates a pressure, positive hydrostatic pressure in the plant is called as root pressure. How do we prove this root pressure? In fact, root pressure was first demonstrated by Stephen Hales. Stephen Hales. They write here, root pressure was first experimentally demonstrated by a scientist called as Stephen Hales. Do you know Stephen Hales is father of plant physiology? Stephen Hales told that xylem is responsible for conduction of water and minerals in plants. It is also experimentally demonstrated by Stephen Hales. And in India, we consider Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose is father of plant physiology in India. Stephen Hales is plant physiology worldwide. So, root pressure, how can we demonstrate this root pressure? Say, for example, let's take a potted plant. Let us suppose this is a small plant. The small plant having the leaves, beautiful leaves are there. Now it is having the birds like apical bird, small leaves, and this is the pot. Right. Now, what do? We pour water to the pot. In the early morning, we pour water to the plant. Now, we keep this pot in the sunlight for some while. Thereafter, we cut the tip of the stem with a fine blade. Okay, we cut the tip of the stem with a fine blade. When we cut the tip of the stem with a fine blade here, then water will be oozing down like this. If this is tip of the stem, from here water will be oozing down. It is called exudation of water. It is called exudation of water. So water will be oozing from cut end part of the stem. If you keep a balloon here, then the balloon is filled with that water also. Right, you can, if you keep a piston also here, the piston will show how much pressure that is exerted by the this root pressure by guttated water. So this exudation of water is an example for root pressure. Right, so that much pressure is there inside the plant that is causing the exudation or oozing of water drop by drop from cut tip of the stem. Now, is it found naturally? For example, we are cutting the plant here. Can we demonstrate the root pressure in a plant naturally without cutting that? Yes, by guttation we can see that. Especially in the warm night and early morning. Early morning will be cool. You know that during the December, January, the night will be cool. So night will be warm and mornings will be very cool, especially on the onset of summer. Evening will be hot, morning will be cool. So at that time, in the night hours and in the morning hours, from these plants, water will be oozing out. If you see the money plant, that is called as pothos. So this is money plant. From tip of the money plant, water will be oozing down. From tip of the grass blade, water will be oozing down. This loss of water in the form of droplets from tip of the leaves is called as guttation. Remember, the difference between transpiration and guttation is that in transpiration, water is lost in the form of vapor. In guttation, water is lost in the form of droplets. In transpiration, the vapor contains only gaseous vapor but none other the elements, whereas the guttated water contains organic, inorganic solutes also. So I write here guttated water contains organic as well as inorganic solutes, do remember, whereas the transpired water, transpiration nothing but evaporation. A biological evaporation from trees, from plants is called transpiration. That contains only gases. But guttation, as it is droplets of water being discharged from the leaves. So these droplets contain organic as well as inorganic solutes. So that is the case here. And one more interesting thing is that the guttation takes place by hydathodes. Guttation takes place by special tissue. Guttation takes place by special tissue that is called as hydathodes. Remember, hydathodes. Res. How do we understand this hydathodes? Let us suppose this is a leaf. we are seeing here a leaf tip. Here water stoma is present. It is like normal stoma, but it is not movable. It doesn't have the mechanism of opening and closing, such is called as water stoma. Water stoma. And these are the vein ends. These are called as vein ends. Vein means you know that the vascular supply given out in leaf is called as the veins. So these are vein ends. Now here we find loosely arranged mass of parenchyma tissue called as epithem. Loosely arranged mass of parenchymatous tissue that is called as epithem. Now here we find the water cavity of the water stoma. Now look here, water reaches from vein ends into the epithem. From epithem it reaches to the cavity. In this cavity, when it is filled up, a pressure is developed. With that pressure, the water exudes through the water stoma. So remember, water stoma is immobile, unlike the normal stomata present in the leaves. So this is what we call as hydathodes. An example, the tissue responsible for loss of water in the form of droplets called as guttation. So guttation is a beautiful example for the root pressure. Okay, so one more doubt you may ask that, sir, when transpiration is there, what is the necessity of guttation? Remember, transpiration will be there for loss of water, but transpiration requires certain conditions like high temperature, low humidity, no rainfall, very much what you call the wind pressure and dry atmosphere, at which the transpiration will be very high. For example, reverse to this. For example, temperature is very low. Temperature is very low and humidity is very high. Atmospheric moisture is 99% and there is incessant rainfall is there due to cyclonic depression. Then more water in soil, more water in plant and more moisture in atmosphere. In such conditions, plant cannot lose this water. So that excess water may be lost in the form of guttation by the plant, especially when water is very high in plant and when the atmosphere is not suitable for transpiration. In such cases, the plant may experience guttation. Okay, that is one case. Now, let us look at the question. The process responsible for facilitating loss of water in liquid form from tip of the grass blades at night and early mornings is, that is, root pressure. This is the answer here. And actually, it is called as guttation. Guttation. So, this is really a very good question here. He is not directly saying the guttation, but he gave the definition of guttation and is asking for which phenomena this guttation is an example. It's very good. For example, heterophily is an example for plasticity, right? So when you know plasticity, then you can explain about the heterophily. If you do not know plasticity, you do not know about the heterophily. Same way, you should have the thorough knowledge about the guttation. What is guttation? From where does it take place? Where does it take place? In which plants it takes place? It's an example for what? It is an example for what? Root pressure. So hope you have understood my explanation. Right? You are preparing very well. So you have any doubts? You have to say anything. If you want me to explain anything about any other topic, any other concept of botany, please do make a comment. Please do respond in the channel that ask me what doubts that you have. I can have a separate session about that doubt in a separate video. So thank you very much. Please do subscribe my channel Vivid Botany. We will be discussing all different kinds of concepts that will annoy the students, that will bother the students, that will twist the students. Okay, so subscribe my channel Vivid Botany. Thank you.